Inspiration can come from a variety of sources. Today's video is inspired by a comment that was quite rude, but I'm going to turn it into something good and beneficial for you all. Without giving credit to this person, because again, their comment was not from an encouraging standpoint, they were telling me how I was running my business incorrectly, being wasteful, and was silly for not having all of the 3D printers running all of the time. Their basis for this statement was one video they watched, or maybe a couple, either way, where, just as you can see here, not all of my 3D printers are running all at the same time, 24/7. This could happen for a couple of reasons, right? Maybe I stop my production work, I stop running jobs to make a video for you guys. Honestly, that's probably the number one time. The other time is because my business model is what you would call print on demand and not print to stock. If you're not entirely sure what I mean by that, let me give you Sam's definition, and just remember, it's what I define it as. So print on demand is when you have a demand for an object, you print it. So in my case, someone orders one of my products, I print out their order sheet, and I send it to my printers and make it on demand. Print to stock is a different model where you have your set objects, you go ahead and produce them, you make them, you stock them somewhere, whether it be here in my shop, or if I send them to a fulfillment center with Amazon, something like that. And after that point, once they are stocked, then they are presented and sold to the customer. I feel like most small businesses in the 3D print realm, and probably in all realms, including laser engraving and everywhere else, are more of an on-demand type business. So if you have lasers, you probably are not out there engraving all of your objects and then waiting to sell them. You're probably in the realm of customizations, or you have a set blank and you have many different design options. And so you, in my mind, very smartly, wait until you have that specific design order placed, then you make it and send it out the door. I do the same exact thing now with 3D printers, but I used to do that with laser engravers when we had our family business that my wife and I did together for making more consumer grade goods, direct to consumer, home decor, gift type products, which we made for several years. So there we go. That's not going to make it into any kind of formal dictionary, I am sure, but there's my definition on how I interpret the terms print, or rather produce on demand versus produce to stock. I definitely still think for small businesses, unless you are just shipping and producing for fulfillment centers, that printing, producing on demand is the way to go, because it enables you to not have to have a large warehouse or storage area of finished products. You don't run the risk of making things that don't eventually sell. And honestly, it's kind of a smarter way for testing the waters initially with a business or a new product line. So that being said, let's go back over here to the desk. I want to show you guys what exactly my print on demand workflow is and give you a sneak peek as to how easy or difficult it is to do. So all of my printers are named numerically. So I just took a look over there to see who is running and who is not, so that I know here in Orca Slicer, I'm going to go to print number 12, go ahead and do a new project, and looking at my packing slip, drop in the file to be printed. I then slice my file, wait for that to happen, click print, verify my printer and filament mapping, and then click send to send it on to that printer. Then taking my blue pen, put a little check mark next to that line item and move on to the next. The reason that this works for me is because as of the making of this video, I have close to 100 different products that I offer for customers to purchase, and every single one of those products can be customized further with different color filament for a different color product. From that standpoint, trying to wrangle all of my stock, all of my products I make, print them ahead of time, stock them somewhere, at this point doesn't make sense. There's just too much random possible orders that can come into my shop at any time that it makes more sense for me to keep these open, waiting to fulfill orders, get them to do them when they come through, and then wait for the next. Sure, from a maximum print run time, jobs per minute output, it's not as efficient, but it is an efficient process for me to allow customer orders first in, get first out, meaning when you order, If you're next in line, your order gets printed all at once and it's out the door. It allows me to have pretty quick turnaround times considering the flow and the variety of stuff that I do sell, which I feel relates into a better customer experience, that they get their order faster than they would expect. So there's a little real-time look at how long it really does take me to connect to a printer, start the new file, drop over my project files, which have been pre-saved, by the way, go ahead and launch it, slice it, and send it to a printer. All in all, it's not that bad. And this kind of workflow is also one that's pretty easy for anyone who works with me in my shop, which right now is my wife, eventually might be my sons, or I may decide to hire other people. It's kind of a workflow that they can get the hang of. Everything is organized neatly into folders as far as files. They can see everything. It's in folders. If they have questions, it's easy to navigate. It's a normal PC interface, right? So it's a normal interface people are used to using. And in my mind, it's a lot less risky to mess up the print job doing it this way than scrolling through the print jobs that have been sent on the cache or the SD card on the actual printer, looking through it and picking it from there. At least that's my current thoughts. Subject to change in the future, as always. So am I trying to tell you guys this is how you should run your business? No, absolutely not. You know your business better than anyone else. So do what you think is best. Instead, what I'm trying to do is give you a little bit of an insight to see how I operate my 3D printing business right now as I fulfill orders on demand. I do have plans to scale this in the future. I want to open up my products to larger online marketplaces, things such as Amazon, Walmart, and large places like that. And at that point in time, I will tell you, I have already planned that this process will change. Now, whether that means my entire process changes or I purchase dedicated 3D printers to sit in another area that are more just pump it out product type machines, I'm not entirely sure just yet, but I am leaning towards that second model instead of trying to muddy the waters here. When the day does arrive that I am selling my products on these larger online marketplaces, I could foresee that perhaps someone else that helps me could run that portion of the business, since it is a lot less changing, I guess you could say, right? You're just reprint, running jobs over and over, which would free me up to managing this side still. Or maybe I train someone to do this side and I do the other stuff and have more free time for administrative business owner type tasks. I don't know. That's in the future. Hopefully not too far down the road in the future, but it is at least in the future and not something I need to worry about just yet. So hopefully this video was helpful for you. Maybe you were interested and curious why sometimes you see these printers not running. Maybe you're curious as to print on demand versus printing to stock, because there are absolutely great business models behind both methods. And maybe this video is helpful to try and give you some more info and help you make a decision on which way you want to go with your business. Either way, I appreciate you watching as always, hanging out with me in the shop. If you got any questions or comments, leave them for me down below. Otherwise, take care, and I'll see you guys next time in the workshop. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Is that better? Do I look more traditional for you guys? All right. I'm now rocking the traditional Samcraft channel look. Let's go.